you're ready, I'll do supply right from the get-go and then, you know, ask away.
And supply is both products and services?
Products and services, because it's really all about how you supply your marketplace. And can customers actually get what they pay for? In other words, someone comes in and they pay you, I'll just pick a number, $50 for something that you do. Every time they come in, it's $50. Are they getting the same level of quality and their expectations satisfied every time? Now, you can't remain static at this. You're always trying to up the game a little bit. But having the procedures in place between you, you're the owner. So you can't deliver on that every day personally yourself. You're relying on staff people to help you get that done. Okay, what processes do you have in place to make sure that your staff is delivering on that expectation every day? Lots of businesses just, they don't have that. So can you be assured that every day when a customer comes in and says, I'd like to engage you in X, could be just a product that they're buying, could be a service that they're buying, and that you're going to be completely satisfied that your staff, and you of course, but your staff is fulfilling that promise every day. What does that mean? It means, number one, I have to train. We'll talk a little bit more about that later and some of the other elements. Number one, I have to train. I have to have documented processes in place that my employees can always go back and refer to, so that I'm assured that they're delivering on the promise of my company's promise to the marketplace every day. That's the supply side. That's you supplying to your marketplace. Can be painstaking. You know, you got to write it down. You got to be able to transfer that knowledge.
Because a lot of people have that in their mind, and they try to convey it verbally, and over time that kind of message kind of gets warped, especially if you got someone training someone who's training someone else. So if the process is written down and then described in detail to each person who has to do that one process.
There's sort of this assumption psychology that I've seen business owners get into, that where they believe, well, I told you once how to do that. Mm-hmm. So I figured you'd get it. A couple of different service-based and product-based companies that I've coached, where the business owner feels like, oh, and it obviously frustrates them that when they go out to the shop and they see things that are happening that should not be happening, and like time bombs go off, boom, and they wonder, well, how did that happen? I've told you this once before. Telling once is not training.
Yep.
Telling once, not documenting, is not training. So if you want to be really good at your supply mastery, be prepared. There's training involved, detailed instructions and documentation that can be referred back to as needed, that needs to take place.
So if I say constant contact to you, is your mind just going to go bluey?
Well, it does, but only because I started with constant contact. So by example, I remember authoring the first newsletter that we ever sent out, and I used constant contact to send that out. And I'm learning how to navigate the thing. So I'm treating myself as the employee, of course, and I'm learning how to do that, but I documented nothing.
Yeah, that was a couple years ago, right?
Oh, couple. I started using them probably 8 years ago.
Okay.
I think they were around 8 years ago, and so I was doing this once a month, and so sure enough, I go back to send out another newsletter, 25 days later, and I'm going, how did I do this last time? I don't know how I did this. And then as many of you might know with Constant Contact or any of these software packages, they change things. And so when the not the algorithms, but the navigation changes, you know, with something like that, you literally got to relearn it. But it would have been nice if the first time I went through it, I said, okay, Dave did this first, okay, then Dave did this second. And so I would at least have some sort of breadcrumbs on the path that I could have followed.
Yep. Well, that's also where YouTube has taken off. Is a lot of people want to learn how to do something. The first thing they do to go is first they go to Google, and then they go to YouTube, and YouTube will actually show them step by step on how to do it. And there's usually someone out there who did a constant contact video on step 1 through 5, which is now, with the fact that they're uploading 400 hours of YouTube content every minute. There's something out there. So if you can't hire someone to do it, or if someone on the staff has difficulty having done something, I mean, being in the video production business, I would say create a documentation on video that they can pick up with their phone either on a break or before they start working, because you don't really want to have them do it in the process. Like, okay, here we are on the machine, okay, let's go to my phone and take out of work. So you want to have them trained before they start touching a piece of equipment, especially for safety purposes.
Right.
And if something has to do with financial, you're losing money every time they make a mistake that way too.
Yeah, when we finish all of the 4 elements, I'm going to do my best to at the end, to remind all of us that if these 4 pillars are not addressed, you're subject to what I call a lot of rework. And for any and all business owners out there, I don't care if you're pushing papers, you've got a service-based business, you've got a product-based business. We coach a lot of tradespeople, from plumbers to HVAC, electrical, roofers, general contractors and remodelers. The thing that is absolute killer is the rework. Why? Because you don't get paid for rework.
Yep.
I mean, it's all just cost, and it could be cost in materials, and many times, of course, it's cost in the labor, and that just comes right out of your margin. So these steps, I'm pointing at my board. I apologize. These steps are disciplines to make sure that you absolutely minimize rework. So let's go to the next one.